Welcome to
LaughLines and LifeLines
podcast. Episode 3, guys.
That's crazy already. I feel like we just started this.
I know. Whoa. Lights are changing.
Hey, girl, hey.
Sound guy and now the light guy.
Ugh. We're in a new spot.
We are in a new spot.
If you couldn't tell, which I hope you could, otherwise that'd be rough.
Nobody's paying attention. I don't know. All 139 people who have watched our podcast, thank you. Thank you.
We see you. We see each other.
Yes. We are in a new location, so
Yes.
Unfortunately no Daisy this time. Or Captain, the good boy.
The good boy.
But maybe they'll make an appearance at the next one.
Yeah. Well, no. Because we're...
Well, they'll make an appearance sometime soon, okay?
Sometime.
We got a lot to talk about today, per usual. That's kind of the
weird.
point.
Weird.
Bro. Come on.
So anyway, today we're going to talk about college, being a Christian, all that, how to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Friendships.
That's
a big one.
Yeah.
So Elly's in college, in case you didn't know. She just finished her
second year. Literally, bless God, that was one of the hardest school years of my entire life. It was so hard. It was just, let's just say I'm not a STEM girl. Like, I don't really vibe.
What does that mean?
Like, science, math, biology, like,
just
area.
Like your generals?
Yeah, but like...
Is that what that means?
But like that side, like, I am really good at like English and art and music
and
writing, but like science and math, no.
Same.
And considering I'm not great at STEM, it really sucked when I had a math and a science class both semesters.
Yeah.
So my first semester I had math, and it was like number theory, why numbers are the way they are,
terrible.
like all of that stuff. And then I had biology, which biology wasn't that bad.
Kinda
like
interesting.
Yeah, and my professor was like, she was really good because she knows, because it was like the 110, like the intro to bio, whatever. And she was like, I know none of you guys are like bio majors or whatever, so like it'll be okay, like we'll make it through. Like, she was very,
that's gonna be tough
like,
for
she
her.
like really knew that we all like were terrified.
No interest in it.
Yeah. So I had that, but the math part first semester was hard just because it was like, I'm going to school to be a teacher, so I actually have to know like why numbers are the way they are. So like when a student asks me something, I can't just be like, well, that's because that's how it is.
And the different methods getting to one answer.
Right. And
I could never.
Yeah, that was hard. And like all of our tests were like, this is how a student solved it. Find all of their misconceptions within the problem. Like, oh my gosh. So then you're like working backwards. Anyway. Yeah. So that was my first semester. And then this last semester, it was so bad,
It
guys.
was a long one.
It was so bad. So for like my math for teachers, we have 2 classes that we have to take. So I took the first semester. And then the second one, this one was definitely easier. It was like geometry, probability, but it's like, if you got 3 marbles in a bag, what's the probability you're going to pull out one of this? And it's like, okay, there's 3, it's 1 out of 3, whatever. Okay. Like pretty standard stuff with that region. Yeah. And then like geometry, finding angles and stuff. And like, I always really liked that in high school. So like that was fine.
You.
Good for you.
Not me. I know.
So the math class was fine. But then for some reason, unbeknownst to me, Ed and special ed majors at my college have to take like a physical science. So we have to take either chemistry or physics. Oh, okay. And the chemistry for Ed majors is only offered during J term. So we have like 1 class during January that we can take. But all of my Januaries are full with like my sign language classes that are only offered that time. Like next J term I'm going abroad. So it's like I couldn't take the chem. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll take physics. Like, that's fine. And there's a couple that you can choose from. There's like astronomy and like something else. And then there's one I took, which was like energy and the environment. Oh, interesting. And in like the course description, because I'm going through picking like which one is going to be the least painful. Yeah. And they're all like 100 levels, like not for physics major. So I'm like, okay, I should be good no matter where I go. In the course description of the one I took, it was like learning about all different energy sources, like, and they had like love your neighbor as yourself for like something that we hear all the time. Yeah. Like something close to like our church catchphrase. And I was like, oh, like that's cool. Maybe it's about like ethics and like how all that plays together. Yeah. No.
Not at all.
Not one bit, actually. No, it was so bad. It was so rough. It was genuinely, I took the first exam. first exam I've ever taken that I actually failed. like in high school, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
Failed.
Like in high school, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just failed that, and it'd be like a 90.
Oh
because
my
it like
gosh.
was because it like
You're
wasn't
that
an A.
girl. Okay.
Oh, I totally was.
Okay.
I was.
Yeah.
Was being a keyword. And then so then we take the first test, and it's not at all what I'm expecting. Not at all. Like, me and the two other girls at my table were like looking at each other the whole time. We're like, what the heck is literally going on? And so we get the grades back for the first one, and it's a 45%.
Oh my
A literal 45%. And I'm like, well,
there's that.
there goes that. So then my grade dropped like literally 10%. Like, it was bad.
Oh
it was really bad.
But you redeemed yourself.
I did. So then,
yep.
and like that class, I could honestly, like, that could be a whole freaking episode in itself, is like talking about that class.
Mm-hmm.
But the professor I think he struggles teaching students that aren't physics majors. Like, he thinks that we know more than we do, and it's like, we really don't.
So he probably doesn't take the time to explain stuff like that.
Right. And he like he'll like show us the equation and then just like expect us to know how to use it.
Oh,
but he like
gosh.
doesn't teach us like what to plug
I
in.
would die.
Yeah. So it was just really frustrating.
Yeah.
But then the second test, I had like taught myself all of the lectures before that, like the night before. Like, I was going through like taking notes and everything. And then the second test, I got a 75.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, we're making upgrades. Cool. So then I go into the final with like a 78, I think, overall.
Okay.
And at my school, if it's like part of your major requirements, you have to pass the class with a 70 instead of a 60. Stupid. Yeah. Anyway. Whatever. So I'm going in with a 78, and I'm like typing in like the theoretical, like, if I were to get like a 15 out of 60, what would I get? If I were to get whatever.
Yeah.
And then we had one more assignment before the final. Sorry. We had one more. Oh,
but she didn't.
Okay.
Project.
So we had one more assignment before the final, but before that one, I was still waiting on my final paper grade. Remember that paper I was telling you about that was like 14 pages long?
Yeah.
Like super long. I got a 72 freaking % on it. And I was pissed. I was so mad. Like, I used to be an English major. Like, I know how to write a paper.
Yeah.
And so I was just pissed. And so I'm talking to the girls at my table. I'm like, what'd you guys get? And they're like, 92.
Oh my.
And 94.
Nope.
And I'm convinced that guy just doesn't like me. Like, I'm just convinced. And that's probably not. I've never written like a science paper. So
yeah.
But like, also on the rubric, he was hitting like, if I were writing this paper, I would have done this. And then like took off points. I'm like, well, first of all, you're not the one writing the paper.
Yeah.
Second of all, just grade what I have, not what I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It was just stupid. Anyway, so got that grade. Brought me to like 78 overall.
Mm-hmm.
We had one more like 20-point assignment due before the final. Docks 5 points off that for no reason. I'm like, are you flipping kidding me?
Yeah.
So I go in with like a little bit lower of a 78. I'm like, you know what? At this point, I literally just need a 70.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
Yeah.
So he puts the grade in. I've got like the theoretical plugger-inner thing. And I'm like, okay, I can get a 15 out of 60, I determined. I can get a 15 out of 60 and still pass with like a 70.1.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, okay, I should be fine.
So you could bomb it.
Right.
Essentially.
Right. So then, you know, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So then I open the test on my laptop. It's 3 questions. Oh, it gets worse. The first 2, a combined total points of 15. Want to know how many points the third one was? 45.
Oh my gosh.
Are you serious?
Oh.
I literally, the 3 of us at my table. I know. The 3 of us at my table like opened up the test, and we all like, you know, like the Spider-Man meme where they're like, this?
Who's doing it?
Yes. Yeah. We literally all hit that. We were like, so then, whatever. I take the test. I'm like, okay. Like, the big question at the end was like the same question as our paper. Just we had to pick like a different energy source to talk about.
Okay.
So in my paper, I talked about wind power because that's riveting.
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm like, oh, I'll do solar. So I'm typing everything I can pull out of my butt about solar power. Yeah. Just like going. And I'm like, okay, I should get at least 15 points out of just that one. So then I go to like the first 2. I'm like, okay, I can answer the first one pretty confidently. I can go to the second one. I'm like, yeah, not so sure. Put something down. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm tired of being here because it was my last final. And I had one final on Monday of last week. And then I didn't have my physics final until Thursday at 1 p.m.
Oh
so I'm just like, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be out of here. So I take it and I leave, whatever. And then that night, I'm checking my, like, Canvas. It's our like grading platform. And all of a sudden I see that my overall physics grade is a 79. And I'm like, did he give in like extra credit? I'm like, I haven't gotten any notifications. Like, that's really weird. And so I go in there and I'm like scrolling all the way to the bottom, and like it like hit the bottom and like bounced up, you know?
Yeah.
But I saw a 5. And I was like, did I see a 5 down there? Like a 50 out of 60? And I scroll down and I got a 53 out of 60.
What?
So I only lost like 7 points. Yeah. Wild.
Okay, well, something worked.
Yeah, I don't know what worked. Something did. I literally was studying like for like 20 minutes for the test, and that's all I did. So,
well, there you go. Okay.
Because at that point I'm just done. But
yeah,
all's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Passed all my classes. I was already technically a junior going into this semester.
Yeah.
But I'm starting my junior year this coming year. So I will never have to take a math or a science class ever again.
So like now it's stuff that's only pertaining to your majors.
Right. I have one.
Your minor major.
Yeah. I have one more like general. It's like a history class.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to take 2. And I took 1, and then I just kind of fit in the second one like wherever. I think it's like in 2 semesters or something. Just, yeah. But, and then I have to take, because we will be teaching in South Dakota, we have to take a Native American course.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the reservations here. And so I'll have my history class and my Native American studies class that I have to take. But other than that, yeah, it's all like teaching methods, pedagogy, like pedagogy.
Never heard of
it. It's like how theology is like the study of the Bible, and like people have to take it when they become pastors. Pedagogy is like the methods behind teaching, like Bloom's taxonomy, Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Sure.
So it's like all the methods that go into like how you teach.
I'm not a teacher.
Classroom management, a bunch of stuff like that.
Okay, just the methods behind teaching.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Makes
simple
sense.
terms. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like I'm also going for special ed, so like I have some IEP development classes and just like random student teaching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So everything from here on out should be. It's gonna be hard. Don't get me wrong. But it's gonna be stuff that's actually like
that you're interested in.
Yeah, and like that actually like pertains to me and my job.
Yeah.
So like it's gonna be hard, yeah, but it's gonna be like worth it. You know, more than a physics class. So.
Right. Totally makes sense.
Long story long.
Yeah, and that,
Physics,
my friends, is why I went to a tech school.
Yeah. Yeah.
My experience in college was, so all my big brothers, they went to SDSU, South Dakota State. Wonderful for them. They did great, are exceeding in their careers, and they did.
Doesn't one of them like coach there now?
Yeah, he's strength and conditioning coach for the football team. Shout out, Matt. Yeah, has a wonderful career. They all do. And it worked out for them. But I just remember when I was in high school, well, all throughout school, I hated school. Always have, probably always will. Yeah. Good thing I don't have to do school anymore, unless I'm dumb and go back for my bachelor's or something. But so in school,
you don't have your bachelor's?
No, I have 2 associates.
Oh, I was like, I know you have something.
Yep.
Okay.
2 associates.
Gotcha.
Yep. I remember being in high school and like seeing my brothers in, like, I would go up to Brookings and visit them and stuff. Yeah. And there was just something about that just wasn't appealing to me. Like, it gave me anxiety being in such a big campus and like all the people and all the partying and all that stuff. It just, and then taking 2 years of classes that don't even pertain to what I want to do in life. Like, I understand why they do it. It just wasn't for me. Right. And then I discovered Southeast Tech, which is a local community college here in Sioux Falls. And I knew like that style of education would work for me. Yeah. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I started at Southeast Tech going into nursing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So my first year of school was pointless because I failed every class because I didn't go to class. And like, it was the typical, I'm out of high school, I get to do whatever I want. Yeah. And I knew that I very quickly learned that nursing wasn't for me. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And on the same token, that time in my life was very tumultuous. That's when my parents were very freshly split up, and it was like World War III.
I also started college with my parents very freshly split up.
Yeah. No fun.
Throws a wrench in there.
It kind of messes with your identity. Like,
right. I mean, bless God, like, we're
good.
We're fine. Yep. Everything is great. It's all how it should have been. But at the time, it's like, crap.
Who am I?
Yeah.
Where do I come from?
Totally.
Like, yeah. And so when I started school, I was so lost. Yeah. Like I said, I always was in like the healthcare field because like all throughout high school, and then when I started school, I was in like working in nursing homes as like a CNA.
Oh, sure. Do you still have your CNA?
It's probably expired right now. Okay. Yeah. Because I think it's every 7 years. I don't know. I don't remember. That's probably wrong, so don't fact check me. But no, it's probably long gone because it's been 10 plus years since I've worked in that field.
True.
But I always loved the aspect of nursing, and I think that nursing always appealed to me because my mom was a nurse. And she was a very good nurse from what I know. Yeah. And so I was like, I'll just try that. Yeah. And so when I started school, went to classes sometimes.
See, for me, it's like my school was so expensive.
Yeah.
I got no choice to go to class.
Yeah, you better.
Every class is like a lot of
money. Yeah. And good for you though. Like you go to a really good school.
Yeah. Like, and I'm blessed too. I have a lot of help. There, like scholarships and whatever.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Because again, she's that girl. It's a good thing. Yeah. So my first year, and in that time, I had gotten married after my first year of school to my first husband. So I was 19 years old.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm 20.
Yep.
So it's weird to imagine like being already married before.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Wild.
Yeah. So I had gotten married after that first year, and then I was like, I did the typical, I'm gonna take a year off, or I'm gonna take some time off to see what happens. I did go back eventually.
Well, true.
It was like a year and a half. My ex-husband, had deployed. He was in the Army, and he deployed, and I was like, you know what? I should go back to school.
Well, you need something to do.
I need something to do besides work. I mean, I still worked the whole time, but I needed something to fill up my time. It might as well be something that I'm interested in and that takes up the time and that's productive to my life.
Sure.
So I went back to school and I started majoring in marketing. And that for the first time in my life, schooling made sense in my entire life because I found something that I was interested in. Yeah. And what I love about Southeast Tech or about any community college is that they don't mess around with taking classes that you don't necessarily need. Yeah. And I was in the mindset of I want to go to school, I want to get it over with and get my degree, get in, get out and start my career.
Yeah.
So then after that first semester of going back, I took on another major of graphic communications. So I finished both of them just under 2 years.
That's awesome.
So I was double majoring. And again, for the first time in my life, I was on the dean's list.
Oh.
Yeah.
That like gives me goosebumps.
Right.
That's so cool.
Like, and I think they call it like the director's list or something like that at Southeast. Yeah. But it was a crazy time in my life because, like I said, my husband was deployed, so I had the stress of that. But I felt like I had a purpose and a direction finally in my life. So yeah, it was very fulfilling to go there.
That's a good word.
Yeah. And I've never looked back. I've been in the marketing field for 14 years now.
Crazy.
14 stinking years.
Crazy. Yo, fart.
Because I graduated in May of 2010.
I was 6 years old when you graduated.
Oh, that hurts.
Or maybe, yeah, I would have just been 6. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in May of 04. I'm just a baby.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just a baby. You were 16 when I was born.
Painful.
Isn't that weird?
That's painful. Painful. Anyway. So yeah, that was my experience in college. My first year of school, when I was like doing whatever I wanted, I lived in the apartments at school. So it was kind of like a dorm, but more independent.
Was it just you, or did you have roommates?
No, I had 3 other roommates. Yeah. So one roommate was a girl that I went to high school with.
Okay.
Her name was Brittany. And then the 2 other girls, I can't even remember their names now. It was that long ago. And like I didn't know them before, and yeah, we just never have kept in touch. I hope they're doing well. If they find this somehow.
Hey girls.
Oh, hey girls. Yeah. So yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like we also, so we want to talk about, like, obviously we're both Christians. That's the whole reason why part of the reason why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
But like our even to college and Christian experiences, like I go to a Christian school.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, technically it's like a private Lutheran school,
Mm-hmm.
but still like religious background.
Right.
And like going to like it's really cool. Part of the reason why I chose Augustana was because I knew I'd be going to school with believers.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because normally if you're not a believer, you're not going to pay all that money to go to a
private
religious school.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, no hate to the university.
No.
Love Augustana with my whole heart.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, I've found most of that outside of campus.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because we have to take, so not only are we a religious school, we're also like a liberal arts school. So we have to take like a bunch of different classes outside of our major because they want us to be well-rounded and whatever.
Okay.
I get it. We all have to take a religion class. And that was like weirdly, like, not very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I took it over the summer, which probably was the first part of why it wasn't very fun.
Yeah.
Professor her and I just didn't vibe well.
Yeah.
She'd be like, what's your opinion on this Bible verse? And I'd give my opinion. She'd be like, that's not really where it's
wrong.
going. I'm like, how are you going to tell me my opinion?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. And I really did like it, though, because I learned more of, like, the history and the context and whatever. But, like, it didn't fulfill me, like, spiritually. I was like, okay,
yeah.
it's just, like,
that's hard.
Yeah. And so, whatever. So, in college, though, I've found myself, like, within the church. Like, that part of my identity I've, like, grasped onto and feel much more confident and grown into and whatever. But that didn't come from school. It came from myself and my church.
Right. And
just some of the friends I have, some of the friends I don't have anymore, all played a role in that.
Right.
So, like, I'm here at church all the time.
Yeah.
Like, whether I'm singing, like today I led, so I was here, this morning, I was here Wednesday. Sometimes I just sing, sometimes we just sing, so we're here just on, like, sometimes we don't lead and we still come.
Mm-hmm.
And the friends I have now, I love them with my whole heart. Like, it's just a thing. They just know. Like, we're not going to schedule anything on Wednesdays because Elly will be at church.
Yeah.
Or, hey, if we're going to eat breakfast, Elly won't be there on Sunday because she's going to be at church. Or, like, hey, if we're all going to go golfing or if we're going to go, like, study together, we have to wait till 1 o'clock because Elly will be back.
Okay.
And that just, like, means a lot to me. Like, just, like, that time, that quality time, like, waiting to do stuff with me. And, like, they don't, like, we have to wait because Elly's going to be at church.
Yeah.
It's like she'll just be back then. And that has always, like, that feels so good to me, like, to have friends who.
What a blessing. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, like, not that, like, we're all at different spots in our faith journey, which I think is also a really cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I learn from them, they learn from me. Like,
absolutely.
And we talk about it. They're like, how do you just go all the time? Like, how do you make time for that? And it's like, it's what's important to you. It's what your priorities are.
I had to make time. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was like, I just, like, it's so weird that you're going to go to church instead of, like, hanging out. And it's like,
come hang out at church.
It's like, first of all, come hang out at church.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's like, when something is the foundation of your entire life, like your entire life, like my relationship with the Lord is the basis of everything. Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
And I told, my friends and my guys, like, it's not just you. Like, church comes before my family. Church comes before my school, my job, like, basically myself.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't have me, if I don't have the Lord. And so it's like, it's not that I don't want to hang out. It's that, like, this is the foundation of my life.
Right.
And I don't stand to diminish that because someone is upset that I'm at church. Like, who am I? Who would I be to be like, oh yeah, you're right, I'm just gonna not
go hang out at
like
somebody's
what?
house.
No.
Like, no.
That's part of me, and that's foundation that won't. It's just not gonna change. So take it or leave it. But college has definitely, like, you can make your own schedule. You can do what you want with your time. You can do what you want with your life.
You have all this freedom.
Yeah. And like you said, like, I've never really been a partier or like whatever. We all do our fair share. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to me.
Nope. Same.
Everything you do, you feel like crap after. It's just not who I am. And with just family history, like, I don't really want to get into drinking or any of that. Like, it's just not something that appeals to me.
Yeah.
Really. So that was also another thing, is like finding friends who don't rely on that.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that, like, finding people to surround yourself with that have the same morals, same values.
Yeah.
And
it's not that they go to church every Sunday and go to church every Wednesday, but it's like we both have that. We all have that, like,
foundation.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I was in school, that was a time in my life where I was so far away from God that, everything at home was no longer. Yeah. So I didn't have that anymore. I clung to my then husband, and that's where, we can get into that in another episode, just about, like,
well, when you feel like that's all you have, it's like, what else are you gonna do?
Exactly. Yeah. That's how I felt at the time. I had come from, like I said, I was so far away from God. I had a bad experience in church growing up, or many bad experiences, and I wanted nothing to do with it.
Like, change. Too.
Yeah, and in my immature mind, I'm like, I'm not going to go to church because every church is like that. I want nothing to do with that. I don't want that in my life. I want nothing near that. I mean, little did I know, like, what I know now about the Lord is, like, there's a huge difference between being a Christian and having a relationship with the Lord.
Amen. Yeah.
Like, that was what I was missing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at the time because I was immature. I was caught up in my own life and my own selfish thought process. Yep. And I thought all that mattered was, I have a marriage. I'm married. My husband was my God. Yeah. And I would profess myself as a Christian, and I believed in God. I've always believed in God. But I carried myself like it doesn't even compare to what I view now and what I value now.
Sure.
And that's something that I'll never, like, that time in my life, I'll never get back, but I don't think I'd want to.
Yeah.
I don't have regrets in life. Because everything leads you to where we are now. Yep. And that's so cliche to say.
No, but people say it because it's true.
It's true. Yes, exactly. And when I was in college, I just thought I was doing what was best for me, and my life. And that was focusing on my marriage and focusing on school, and that's it. I wasn't focusing on God.
Yeah.
I was not even remotely focused on God, but then I would profess myself as a Christian. Like, it's such a catch-22.
I know with some of those.
Yeah, exactly. And I was that person. I'll admit it.
I feel like we've all been at some point.
Yes, absolutely.
Stuff gets hard and you're like, well,
see ya. And like you forget. And that's something I still struggle with today, is I have a relationship with God. Like I mean, back then I was a shell of a person, and I see that for what it is now. But today I still struggle with believing that I can do things on my own. Mm-hmm. And that all it really boils down to is trusting in the Lord.
Yep.
To guide my steps.
Yep.
I know this kind of took a turn from what we were talking about. But when I was in college, it was a very, like I said, tumultuous, and just, I was very lost.
Yeah.
I was that friend who didn't understand other people in my life who would focus so much on the Lord, which I did not have many, if any. Like, I didn't understand it, and at the time,
its own battle is not having anybody to look
exactly.
At. Like, well, I'm on my own.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And I didn't have people in my life like that. Now I see how it could have benefited me. Mm-hmm. But I also see it for what it is. Like, I did what I thought was best at that time in my life.
And that's all you can do. When that's all you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you think you're supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, I see it for what it is now.
Right.
Like, I hadn't dealt with anything in my past at that point in my life. I mean, it wasn't until 8 years ago that I started dealing with stuff in my life. Dealing with my childhood. And so I was living this facade of a life. That, again, I just was doing what I thought you should do in life.
Yeah.
I went to school. I got married. I was the good army wife. Mm-hmm. I doted over my husband. By no way, shape, and form was I perfect.
Right.
But I was doing what I thought I should do because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So having friendships, again, that's how I what's the word I'm looking for? Sought after people in my life too. I didn't know how to relate to people because I was living this facade.
Yeah.
So I would imitate other people, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a imposter syndrome. Yes.
I was gonna say that.
Yes. And I made some great friends, some friends that I'm not friends with anymore, some that I wish I was, and I miss dearly, and they were in my life for a season, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I was going with that.
Okay.
Can we cut that out, please?
Leave it in.
No. So yeah, it's very interesting to see somebody go through college in a way that I wish I had.
I mean, it's not all sunshine and rainbows over here.
Oh, well, I know that. But like being so grounded in Christ is what I yearned for since I was a child, and I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
I went to church and did the thing, but I didn't have godly people in my life the way that I do now.
Yeah.
I didn't seek the Lord the way that I do now.
Yeah.
And believe me, I have many, many, many flaws now, but my foundation is the Lord.
Yes.
And we can get into that in another time, but yeah, anything else on that subject?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Do you
Should
have
we
any
call it
funnies of the week?
Any funnies of the week? So Everly, like,
gosh,
I know, my wild child. I know, my child. Bless her little heart. So we are struggling a little bit. She's 4 years old, and the second she wakes up, she asks for her tablet. And I know parents out there, you can relate. So please tell us in the comments if you can relate. Please tell us.
Please.
So like the second she wakes up, she asks for her tablet, and I'm just like, no. And then she's at that time in her life where
she's at this time in her life.
She's 4. But she's at
a really rough chapter.
It is a really rough chapter. But she's at that stage, I should say, that she asks why.
Yeah.
Any time she possibly can.
Yeah.
So if I say she can't have her tablet, why? And I tell her,
I said so.
But why? And then I say, because I said so. But I understand why parents do that now.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes just the answer that you gotta go with, because there's no answer that will suffice for her little mind. And so like immediately, if I say she can't have her tablet, okay, well, can I have a popsicle? And I'm talking like 7 o'clock in the morning. So she doesn't understand the concept of time. So
yesterday?
It's just
it was 2 years ago.
Yesterday could have been 6 months ago in her little mind.
6 months ago could have been 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
So
Yep. So everything in past tense is yesterday.
Subject to change.
Yes. So it's Mother's Day was a couple of weeks ago. She's still telling me Happy Mother's Day. She said it this morning. And was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
It was only a week ago then.
Yeah. So,
but still, she's still saying Happy Mother's Day, and it melts me every time she says it, so I can't really complain.
Right.
But
my sister did that. Okay, so my sister's, is that really 4 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my sister's also 4. A little bit older than Ev.
I think
my sister turned 4 in January.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, my sister's also in this, like, doesn't really get, like, the different days and everything.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So on my birthday, we're out for lunch, and we all get to the restaurant. I meet my dad and all of them there, and she's like, Happy birthday. I'm like, thanks, baby. So we're sitting down at lunch, and, we finish our food, and we're all just talking. She goes, so, it's your birthday anymore? I'm like, well, yeah, honey, it's still the same day. And she's like, it's not your birthday. We already ate lunch. I'm like, oh, so once the birthday lunch is over, it's not my birthday
Makes
anymore.
sense.
So we're, like, leaving. We're walking out, and my dad, like, takes a picture of us. He's like, everybody's like, happy birthday. And she's like, it's not her birthday. I'm like, girl, it is the whole day shoot.
Yeah.
But they just don't get it.
So, yeah, Everly, on that same token, her birthday was at this point 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she's still, just yesterday,
it's my birthday.
She was in the bathroom singing happy birthday to herself. While she's going to the bathroom.
My spirit animal.
That's my girl. That's her father's child.
True.
And sound guy. And so it's so funny. They're so funny.
Yeah. It is just a fun. Sometimes you want to slap them a little bit.
Sometimes.
Often you want to slap them a little bit.
Why?
But it's so fun. Yeah.
Like yesterday, it was like 70 degrees outside, and I still had the pool set up.
Get the heck outside. Touch some grass, yo.
Well, yeah, but I still had the pool set up.
Right.
70 degrees outside, and it's windy.
So it's going to be cold.
Cold.
Yeah.
Guess who insisted on going in the pool?
Everly.
But you know what?
Guess who's cold?
She had the time of her life.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Didn't even think twice.
And she would.
She would.
Wild child.
Yes.
Nothing scares
yes.
her. Yes.
So there's Everly and Captain in her pool. Hanging out.
The pool that's for the kids, but Captain was in the kid pool?
Oh, yeah.
Don't they have a dog pool?
Yeah. But there's more water in the kids pool, so Captain chooses the kids pool.
He's thinking.
He is. He is my water dog. Daisy is not so sure yet.
Yeah.
But everything, all this summer stuff is new to her because she's a baby. She's only 7 months old. She's never experienced water before. Yeah. So it's very fun. Having toddlers is just fun.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Is she still counted a toddler?
Is she?
She's like 4.
Aren't toddlers until like 5? She's my toddler. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Am I that parent who's like, she's 72 months old? Is that 6? I think that's 6.
6 times.
Okay, she's 48 months old. I can't do math, people. She's old. 40. Yeah, 48.
Yeah.
She's 48 months old.
Wow. So on that note.
Thanks for watching. we will see you next week.
Deuces.
Bye.